A single book rests on a wooden table. Its cover is dark and worn. Dust moves slowly in a thin beam of light. No title shines in gold. No bright image invites the reader. It looks quiet, almost forgotten. But this book once frightened kings. It worried churches. It disturbed entire nations. For nearly 300 years, it was forbidden. Owning it could bring punishment. Reading it could change your life. Few people knew why it was so dangerous. It did not contain weapons. It did not teach violence. It contained ideas, simple sentences, questions that refused to stay silent. The strange part was, the book began as a personal thought, a quiet reflection written by candlelight. Its author did not plan a revolution. He did not imagine soldiers marching. He simply wanted to understand the world. The year was long before electricity, before modern printing machines, before free speech was protected. In many places, words were controlled. Printers needed permission. Writers needed approval. A single wrong sentence could lead to prison. A single idea could be called heresy. Truth was not free. The author sat at a wooden desk. A candle flickered beside him. Ink dried slowly on rough paper. Outside, the streets were quiet. Stone buildings stood under a cold sky. Church bells echoed in the distance. At that time, religion shaped daily life. It guided laws. It shaped education and power. Questioning accepted beliefs was risky. Even curiosity could be dangerous. Silence was often safer than truth. But the author kept writing. Line after line, page after page. He asked simple questions. How does the universe truly work? What if tradition is not always correct? These questions seemed small, but they touched something powerful. They challenged authority itself. When a manuscript was finished, it did not look threatening. It looked thoughtful, careful, calm. Friends read it quietly. Some nodded in agreement. Others grew nervous. Be careful, one warned. These ideas are not welcome. Fear entered the room. Still, the author believed in reason. He believed in observation. He believed in evidence. The printing press was becoming more common. Books could travel farther than ever before. Ideas could move faster than horses. So the manuscript was printed. Carefully, secretly at first, then more boldly. Copies began to spread across cities, from scholar to scholar, from university to university. Readers felt something new, a different way of thinking, a quiet spark of independence. But powerful leaders noticed. They read the same pages. They saw a threat, not a threat of swords, not a threat of fire, but a threat of thought. If people questioned one belief, what else might they question? What would happen to authority? Meetings were held behind closed doors. Voices whispered in candlelit rooms. Concern grew heavier each day. Some argued the book was wrong. Others said it was dangerous. Few dared to defend it openly. Soon, an official decision was made. The book would be examined. Its words would be judged. Religious officials studied every page. They marked lines with ink. They debated each argument. Certain passages stood out, sentences that disagreed with ancient teachings, ideas that suggested the world worked differently. The strange part was, the author used logic, not anger. He used evidence, not insults. But logic can be unsettling. Evidence can be disruptive, especially when it challenges tradition. A public announcement followed. The book was declared forbidden. Its ideas were labeled dangerous. Copies were collected. Some were locked away. Some were burned. Printers were warned. Booksellers were threatened. Readers were watched. Owning the book became a crime in certain places. Universities removed it from shelves. Silence returned. But ideas are difficult to erase. They live in memory. They travel by whisper. Hidden copies survived, tucked into private libraries, wrapped in cloth and stored in chests. Students read it secretly at night. Candles burn low. Doors remained locked. The author felt the pressure. His work had caused fear. His name was now controversial. Some called him brave. Others called him reckless. Many called him dangerous. What happened next surprised everyone. The ban did not end the book's journey. It began a new chapter. Across borders in distant lands, readers discussed its ideas. Debate slowly spread. The more it was forbidden, the more curious people became. Why hide these pages? For nearly 3 centuries, its name remained on ban lists. Its ideas remained controversial. And yet, the questions inside it did not disappear. They waited patiently, waiting for a world ready to listen. Years passed. The author grew older, but the controversy did not fade. In lecture halls, professors avoided mentioning the book. Its title felt heavy in the air. Students learned around it, not from it. Some teachers quietly disagreed with the ban, but they valued their safety. Careers were fragile. Religious courts continued to review the text. Committees gathered again and again. The judgment did not change. The book remained on official forbidden lists. Its pages were considered spiritually dangerous. Its ideas labeled misleading. But outside official circles, curiosity grew. Travelers carried rumors from city to city. They spoke of a book that questioned the heavens. Few people knew the full content. Many had only heard fragments. Whispers replaced direct reading. The strange part was, some critics had never opened the book. They feared it without reading it. Meanwhile, scientific instruments improved. Telescopes became stronger. Observations became clearer. Scholars began noticing patterns in the sky, movements that did not match old explanations. Questions slowly returned. In private rooms, thinkers compared notes. They spoke softly. They avoided public attention. The banned book described a new model of the universe. It suggested the Earth was not at the center. It proposed something radical. According to its pages, the Earth moved. It traveled around the sun. For centuries, people believed the opposite. The Earth stood still. Everything else revolved around it. Changing this idea meant changing humanity's place in the cosmos. It felt unsettling, almost insulting. If Earth was not central, what did that mean for human importance? What did that mean for faith? Religious leaders feared confusion. They feared doubt spreading among believers. They feared losing authority. The author had based his claims on mathematics, careful calculations, detailed charts of planetary motion. He was not mocking belief. He was observing the sky. He was following numbers. But numbers can challenge tradition, and tradition rarely changes easily. As decades passed, new astronomers tested the same ideas. Some confirmed the patterns. They saw planets moving in ways that supported the book. Slow, predictable paths, not chaotic wandering. Still, publicly supporting the theory was risky. Careers could collapse overnight. Reputation meant survival. One young scholar referenced the banned ideas. He faced immediate criticism. His loyalty was questioned. Another wrote letters defending the new model. Those letters were intercepted. Warnings followed. The ban remained firm. Centuries can be stubborn. Institutions move slowly. Meanwhile, printing technology improved. Books became cheaper. Literacy slowly increased. Ideas began traveling faster than ever before. Across borders, across oceans. In some countries, the book was not strictly banned. Copies circulated quietly. Debates grew louder. Young students felt inspired. The universe seemed larger, more mysterious. The strange part was, the book itself was calm and technical. It contained charts, not rebellion. Its message was powerful. Earth was not the center. Humanity was part of something vast. Over time, more evidence appeared. Telescopes revealed moons orbiting other planets. The sky looked different. These discoveries supported the banned idea. Slowly, quietly, confidence grew, but official lists still named the book as forbidden. Ink on paper kept the ban alive. Tradition held firm. Generations were born and died. The book remained restricted. 300 years is a long silence. In hidden libraries, carefully preserved copies survived. A few pages turned each year. Scholars began teaching modified versions of the theory, without naming the original author, without citing the book. Truth sometimes travels in disguise. Ideas adapt to survive. Eventually, pressure built inside institutions. Evidence became difficult to ignore. Science advanced steadily. New generations of leaders studied astronomy. They saw the same patterns in the sky. They felt the same questions rising. What if the book was not dangerous? What if it was simply correct? Debates reopened quietly. Committees formed once more. Old decisions were reconsidered. The language of the ban was reviewed. Scholars examined earlier judgments. History was questioned. The strange part was, the world had already changed. Science classrooms taught the Sun Center model. Ships navigated using improved calculations. Astronomers mapped the heavens differently. The theory had become normal. Yet officially, the book remained condemned. A symbol of resistance. A memory of fear. What happened next surprised many observers. The ban was softened. Restrictions began to loosen. Certain corrected versions were allowed. Small edits were required. Careful wording replaced bold claims. It was not a full freedom yet, but it was a crack in the wall. Centuries after its publication, the book slowly returned to shelves. Cautiously, quietly, libraries cataloged it again. Students could reference it openly. Fear began to fade. The author's name was spoken without whispers. His calculations were respected. His courage reconsidered. 300 years of tension had passed. 300 years of debate. The sky had not changed, but human understanding had. And institutions had learned something difficult. Ideas cannot be locked away forever. Evidence cannot be erased permanently. The banned book had survived, not by force, but by patience. Its pages waited quietly for a world ready to read them. And now, a deeper question remained. Why was it banned for so long? To understand that, we must look closer at the fear behind the decision. The fear did not begin with anger. It began with uncertainty. Uncertainty can feel dangerous. For centuries, people believed the heavens were perfect, unchanging, ordered by divine design. The old model placed Earth at the center. It felt stable, comforting. Humans stood at the heart of creation. The sky moved around them. Everything had clear meaning. The banned book suggested something different. Earth was moving, not still. Movement meant change. Change meant instability. Instability frightened leaders. Religious teachers worried about confusion. If one teaching was questioned, others might follow. The strange part was, the author never attacked faith. He described motion. But symbolism matters. Earth at the center meant importance. Removing it felt like removing certainty. In crowded churches, sermons addressed obedience. Listeners sat quietly, eyes forward. Behind closed doors, officials discussed influence. Control depended on unity. Unity depended on shared belief. If scholars promoted the new model publicly, students might ask deeper questions. Curiosity spreads quickly. Some leaders feared chaos. They imagined society breaking apart. Order felt fragile. So the ban remained, not only about astronomy, but about authority. Meanwhile, outside official control, the scientific revolution was growing. New thinkers appeared. One astronomer pointed his telescope at Jupiter. He saw small lights beside it. They moved. Those lights were moons, orbiting another planet, not Earth. The discovery shook old beliefs. It proved not everything revolved around Earth. The sky told a different story. Another observer studied Venus. Its phases changed like the moon. This supported the new model. Evidence slowly formed a pattern, piece by piece, observation by observation. Yet supporting the banned book openly was risky. Some scientists faced trials. Some were forced to recant. One famous thinker stood before judges. His writings were examined, his loyalty questioned. He defended the sun-centered model, but pressure grew heavy. He eventually stepped back publicly. The message was clear. Certain ideas carried consequences. Safety required caution. Still, privately, research continued. Observatories were built. Charts improved. Universities slowly expanded scientific study. Mathematics became more precise. Prediction became more accurate. Ships crossed oceans using improved calculations. Navigation benefited from new astronomy. Practical results supported theory. The strange part was daily life began depending on the same ideas that were banned. Truth worked quietly. Generations of students grew up learning both models. One for official approval, one for scientific clarity. A silent divide existed. Public statements followed tradition. Private notebooks followed evidence. Over time, political landscapes changed. Empires rose and fell. New philosophies appeared. Enlightenment thinkers valued reason. They encouraged questioning. Debate became fashionable. Printing houses expanded rapidly. Pamphlets and essays circulated widely. Ideas moved faster than ever. The authority of institutions was examined, not only in science, but in politics and society. In this changing world, the banned book felt less shocking, more historical. Young scholars read it with curiosity, not fear. They saw calculations, not rebellion. The original controversy seemed distant. 3 centuries create distance. Time softens resistance. Committees inside religious institutions reconsidered old judgments. They reviewed earlier decisions. Context mattered. The universe had not collapsed. Faith had not disappeared. Society continued. The fear that once felt urgent now seemed exaggerated. History offered perspective. What once looked like rebellion now looked like early science. Courage reframed as curiosity. Still, official change required careful steps. Institutions move slowly. Reputation matters. Discussions stretched across years. Documents were revised. Language softened. The strange part was, the ban itself had become symbolic, a reminder of past tension. Removing it meant admitting error. An admission is difficult, yet truth remained patient. The planets continued their motion. The sun rose each morning. Finally, formal reviews reached a conclusion. The book no longer posed a threat. Its ideas aligned with observation. Scholars recommended lifting restrictions. Quiet signatures followed. Official ink replaced old condemnation. 300 years after its ban, the book was released, without ceremony. No crowds celebrated in the streets. No dramatic announcement filled the sky. Just a change in records. Libraries updated catalogs. Forbidden lists were shortened. The title stood freely. The author had long been gone. He never saw the full acceptance. His ideas outlived him. The book that once threatened power now sat quietly in classrooms. Students turned its pages calmly. The conflict had shaped history. It revealed something important. Ideas challenge structures. And when ideas are suppressed, they often grow stronger. Curiosity does not disappear. But the deeper story was not only about astronomy. It was about fear and about control. It was about how institutions respond to change. Slowly, sometimes defensively, the banned book became a symbol, not of destruction, but of transformation. And yet one final question remained. What does this story mean for us today? To answer that, we must reflect on the power of ideas themselves. Today, the book rests quietly on open shelves. Students flip through its pages. No guards stand nearby. Its diagrams look simple now. Circles and lines. Careful numbers in neat columns. Nothing about it feels dangerous anymore. No alarms. No whispered warnings. But 3 centuries ago, these same pages caused fear. Fear strong enough to silence them. The strange part was, the sky never changed during those years. The planets continued moving. Truth did not rush. It did not argue loudly. It simply remained consistent. This story is not only about astronomy. It is about how humans respond to new ideas, especially uncomfortable ones. When a belief feels central, challenging it feels personal, almost like losing identity. For leaders, it can feel even larger. Authority often rests on shared understanding. Change can feel like loss of control. But history shows something gentle. Ideas tested by evidence tend to survive, even when delayed. The author never called for rebellion. He never demanded power. He observed the sky carefully. His courage was quiet. He trusted mathematics. He trusted observation. 300 years of resistance could not erase calculation, could not silence motion. The book teaches patience. It teaches humility. It teaches openness. Few people knew at the time that they were witnessing a turning point. Change often feels small in the moment. A sentence written by candlelight can echo across centuries. A careful idea can reshape the world. The strange part was, the ban itself made the book stronger. Curiosity grew because of restriction. When something is forbidden, people ask why. Questions begin, and questions are powerful. They open doors. They shift perspective. Today, we live in a world full of information. Books travel instantly across screens. Ideas cross oceans in seconds. But tension between tradition and discovery still exists. Debates continue. Change remains uncomfortable. The story of this banned book reminds us to listen carefully, to examine evidence calmly. It reminds institutions to reflect, to adapt when needed, to value truth over pride. And it reminds individuals that learning requires courage. Growth requires openness. The author's name is now respected. His calculations are standard knowledge. His fear has faded into history. The once forbidden book became a foundation of modern science. Its ideas shaped education. Students look at the sun differently now. They understand Earth's motion. They feel part of a vast universe. Instead of shrinking human importance, the discovery expanded human wonder. The cosmos became larger and more beautiful. 300 years of silence could not stop the planets, could not stop curiosity. And perhaps that is the quiet lesson. Truth does not hurry, but it endures. Some ideas challenge us. Some ideas unsettle us. But some ideas also free us. The book banned for 300 years now rests peacefully in libraries. Its pages turn without fear. What once threatened power now inspires students. Perspective has changed. History moves slowly. Understanding moves gradually. But it moves. And maybe that is enough. A quiet movement. A steady orbit toward clarity. If this story made you curious, look up at the sky tonight. Remember the courage of one careful thinker. And consider this gentle question. What ideas today are waiting patiently for a future ready to understand them?